This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. It's Wednesday, November 16th. Here are your top stories of the day. The Arkansas economy suffered a double-dip recession in 2012 and will likely see a revision in historic employment numbers posted earlier this year. An audience of more than 100 business leaders learned Wednesday at the annual Little Rock Regional Economic Briefing held at the Clinton Presidential Center. Along with predictions of tepid economic growth over the next few years, those were the few highlights from the annual economic forecasting event that was hosted by the Little Rock branch of the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis and the Institute for Economic Advancement at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. Read our full coverage at talkbusiness.net. As pre-filing for new bills and resolutions for the upcoming 91st General Assembly began Tuesday, Representative Mark McElroy from Tiller had the honor of submitting the first legislative proposal nearly 55 days ahead of the 2017 general session. McElroy's House Bill 1002, if enacted, would require new, larger school buses purchased in Arkansas after January 2018 to be equipped with seat belts or some other type of passenger restraint system. McElroy said he wanted to file his bill to make people aware of an emerging safety concern for school-age children. The Arkansas Bar Association's House of Delegates will consider a proposed constitutional amendment where state Supreme Court justices would be appointed rather than elected. The draft amendment would establish a 9-member judicial nominating commission that would accept applications. It would also interview candidates and nominate 3 individuals for each vacancy. The governor would select a justice from the nominees to serve a single 14-year term. Current justices are elected statewide to 8-year terms and are allowed to run for re-election. You can keep up with those top stories and more at talkbusiness.net. Still to come, 4 minutes, 4 questions with Steve Bronner. What does the future hold for both the Democratic and Republican parties after Tuesday's historic elections? We'll also go inside the numbers for a look at developments in Northeast Arkansas. And Kim Souza rounds up the latest on the Walmart front. Stick around.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank, only in Arkansas.
Arkansas's most abundant natural resource provides the core asset for Deltic Timber Corporation. In addition to the sustainable yield stewardship of its well-stocked timberlands, Deltic adds value by integrating its efficient wood products manufacturing facilities, as well as through planned development of commercial and residential real estate. Deltic Timber Corporation, creating value for a growing Arkansas.
Time now for 4 minutes and 4 questions. I'm joined by Steve Bronner with Talk Business and Politics. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yep, thanks. Good to
Nice
be here.
Have you back on the set?
Yep.
All right, you know the drill. You know how this works,
Okay.
right? I'm going to come to you first. You come to me first.
I'm coming to you first, right?
Come on, bring it.
Okay. What is the future of the Democratic Party in Arkansas?
I'm going to answer that twofold because I think it's the party in Arkansas and the party nationally because they are inextricably tied to one another, as we have seen from about the last 3 or 4 election cycles, that any Democrats are going to get tied to whoever the national Democratic Party leadership is. Look, I think that the Democratic Party at the national level is on its way to probably elect someone that would be representative of the Elizabeth Warren, the Bernie Sanders faction of the Democratic Party, and that is not going to play in Arkansas. I would advocate, if I'm the Democrats, and I probably don't have enough influence to do it if I'm an Arkansas Democrat, there needs to be 2 heads of the Democratic Party nationally. One that can appeal more to rural voters who still have some sort of conservative Democratic strain, and one that appeals to the more liberal factions that came up in this last election cycle. I think you got to have both. I don't think you can just have one singular identity. You got to be able to speak to multiple groups. And I don't know if the Democrats will do that, but that would be my advice. Let me turn the tables on you. Let's talk about the future of the Republican Party. They're kind of owning everything right now, although they still have room for growth, but they also have to reconcile themselves with the era of Donald Trump. What's the future of the Republican Party in Arkansas and nationally?
At some point in Arkansas, it becomes almost too much of a good thing, in that you have such a majority now, overwhelming really. They've got 74 seats in the House, they've got 26 in the Senate, a complete reversal from 2010, and this is permanent. Yeah. So, do we have a two-party system in Arkansas? Do we have a one-party system in Arkansas? Do we have a no-party system in Arkansas? I mean, we now have basically candidates who want to win in the near future are going to have to run as Republicans. So a party that was accustomed to being a fighting a rearguard, rebellion, now has to be responsible. They are permanently the dog that's caught the car. So it will be interesting to see how the Republicans manage to stay Republican as some would want them to be, or how do they just become kind of a majority party with complete power. The ones that were elected this election were not a bunch of bomb throwers. You will see people who would really maybe even be as comfortable in the past in another party just running as Republicans, just like in the past, everybody ran as Democrats.
Yeah, interesting. Good points.
All
I
right.
can't argue with that.
So, you were talking about this a minute ago, but how can the Democrats bridge this gap between, how can the gap be bridged between rural, conservative, white America and a more diverse urban base?
Yeah, I think this is a bigger question, not just for Democrats. I think it's for Americans. I mean, how do we get rural America to better understand urban, inner city, or left coast, right coast politics? I think leaders understand the difference. That's why you see some of the exploitation that you see in the political culture that we've got going right now. But I don't think until you are taking a farmer in north central Arkansas, maybe a rancher in north central Arkansas, has got to understand what it's like to live in East Little Rock on 14th Street. And I don't know how you make that happen, but until you can get that type of cultural exchange going in America, not just here in Arkansas, but across America, I don't think anybody's going to understand what it's like to walk in anybody else's shoes. And I don't think that you're ever going to be able to bridge that gap. I know what I'm expressing is some sort of utopian, wishful, hey, let's find a way to get people all together. But that's where we're at in America right now, and it's a pretty 50-50 divide. Nobody understands everybody else's world. And in the echo chamber of news that we live in now, that we've talked about a number of times, you're not going to learn about someone else's walk in life very easily without the experience and the effort to try to make that happen. But
do we need like a sister cities like we've always had? Portland and Little Rock?
I don't think that the leader of the Chamber of Commerce in Harrison, Arkansas, and the leader of the Chamber of Commerce in Little Rock, Arkansas, I don't think they've got the problem. I think it's a resident living outside of Harrison and a resident living in central Little Rock don't understand each other, and they've got to find a way to bridge that gap. I don't know what the answer is, but that's the problem. So I just got to diagnose problems. I don't have to answer them on this show. All right, last question for you. Donald Trump pivoting a little bit from his election rhetoric of wanting to repeal Obamacare, perhaps. What do you think health care looks like under a Trump presidency?
Well, I can almost guarantee you that at some point in the fairly near future, there will be a piece of legislation that has the words, "The Affordable Care Act is repealed." Now, what happens from there, whether or not what is created in its place is a long-term solution, or whether it's basically the Affordable Care Act minus a few things, mostly the unpleasant things. And if you do that, can you keep the pleasant things that everybody seems to like? He will repeal. I mean, the Republicans control everything now. They have promised since 2009 that they would repeal Obamacare. It will be repealed.
There's going to be a piece of paper that says Obamacare, and it's going to get set on top of a trash can, and a fire's going to get lit in it to watch it burn up.
Something like that.
Yes.
They will, without a doubt. But what comes in its place, how different it is unknown. Now, in Arkansas, Arkansans in the legislature have been, begging for more flexibility on Medicaid grants, on other kinds of policies, and I think that you will see that if Republicans can get it together and get something passed. But, you know, they've had since 2009 to create this replacement.
That's right.
And they have not done it yet. So how quickly can they do that?
I've asked for legislation from a number of our federal Republican officials, and they all tell me it's been a fruitless endeavor because Obama is still president. Now that excuse doesn't exist. All right, he's Steve Bronner with Talk Business and Politics. Thank you as always. Good stuff. You can catch his writing on our website at talkbusiness.net. It's always great stuff. We're back with more right after this.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy, and together we power life. Entergy.
George Jared leads our Northeast Arkansas coverage of news from that corner of the state. Here are 3 stories that made headlines in the last few days.
Here are some headlines from around Northeast Arkansas. Heavy August rains, humidity, and high fall temperatures are going to lead to lower crop yields in Northeast Arkansas. Craighead County Extension Agent Brandon Thesey tells Talk Business and Politics that farmers can expect to harvest less soybean, corn, and rice this fall. What that means is farmers will make less money, and it may even force some to abandon their fields come spring. Arkansas State University Quintero campus in Quintero, Mexico is accepting students. ASU Jonesboro has a partnership agreement with the campus in Mexico, and it will provide teachers and curriculum for the campus in exchange for a monetary arrangement based on how many students are on the campus. The ASU Quintero campus is slated to open in the fall of 2017. ASU is also about to open its Women's Business Leadership Center. The center will provide scholarships and mentoring programs for females in middle school, high school, and in college. The program will be led by Dr. Kathy Lloyd, a former ASU alumnus and Mattel Incorporated board member. And those are some of your headlines from around Northeast Arkansas.
You can keep up with those stories and more each and every day at talkbusiness.net. When we come back, Kim Souza rounds up news from the Walmart front. Their earnings come out tomorrow. Stick around for more.
Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation provides electric energy across 2/3 of Arkansas. This is an exciting time in our energy history, with incredible progress being made in renewable energy and storage technologies. As our energy portfolio continues to diversify, we'll maintain an all-the-above strategy to provide reliable and affordable electricity. Ever since the first light bulbs were placed in our members' homes, the electric cooperatives have been the solutions provider for our members, and we want to continue that well into the future.
So much of what Arkansas state employees do goes unnoticed, yet they have a positive impact on our citizens each and every day. The Arkansas State Employees Association recognizes individuals for excellence in the workplace and leadership in their communities. Congratulations to Deanna O'Malley of Texarkana, the Outstanding State Employee of 2016. We'd like to say thank you to all state employees for all of your hard work and dedication.
From Northwest Arkansas, we spend a lot of time and resources bringing you the best of news from the region. A central focus of that coverage centers on Walmart and the supplier community. Kim Souza, who leads that beat, brings us up to speed on the latest, which includes a preview of Walmart's earnings.
Wall Street expects Walmart to have a pretty decent quarter when they report on Thursday. They pegged the profits to come in at about $2.97 billion. That would be about a 7% decline from Walmart's net earnings a year ago. But no one's surprised by that. Walmart itself has guided down its earnings for this year and all of next year. The reason? Look at what it's spending in e-commerce. Walmart is choking back a $6 billion investment in this area. It takes a while to swallow that, even if you're Walmart. Walmart's U.S. stores seem to be doing a little better, and analysts peg the same store sales to come in at about 1.4%, which is going to be a good bit better than what we see internationally or Sam's Club. I do expect Walmart's U.S. stores to be the star of the show this quarter. I just think that they've got more traction and they're doing better than the rest of the portfolio. Walmart investors seem to be quite patient with Walmart as it's turning its U.S. stores around and investing in e-commerce. Walmart shares are actually up 15% since the start of the year. One thing for certain is Walmart has been under-promising and over-delivering for the past 4 quarters. I look for them to do the same when they report on Thursday. I fully expect Walmart to beat the street expectations, and I think Walmart US will be the reason why.
That's Kim Souza with Talk Business and Politics, covering all things Walmart. That's a wrap for today's Daily Show. Thanks as always for tuning in. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.